paying $2,000 for a toilet seat or $500 for a hammer. Well, wintertime, that's inventing time for me, and mad scientist time. I'm always trying to figure out some things. Got Shumway seed catalog, so I'll be looking through that, trying to find some seeds to fill up the river banks and river beds with, and try to grow some extra food for me this coming year. But wintertime is a good time to be thinking outside the box and try to come up with something. It's kind of sad. I see and have contact with quite a few different inventors through the year, and quite often they're so afraid that somebody will get their idea and get rich off of it. I've invented a number of things, and I always give them away. Benjamin Franklin, he gave a lot of his inventions away, including the stove that's named after him. He said it's just too important, and he said the people need all the help they can get. Now, if they needed it then, they sure need it now when the government is taking 50% of your money and they want it to be 65%. For example, though, one of the things that I've had is Snake Chaps, different kinds that I've had throughout the years that I kind of makeshift made. And the reason for that is if you ever watched any of the cowboy and Indian movies, most of the time the Apaches and some of the different tribes, they'd always have leggings and to keep a snake from biting them, because they didn't have antivenom back then. Well, today they've got antivenom, and so most of you aren't that interested. You say, I can go to the doctor and he can give me that antivenom and everything's fine and good. Doesn't matter that a real bad snake bite can run you $50,000. And no question, if it's a day after scenario, you might be in a lot of trouble, because that doctor, and most of the doctors I've talked to, they said they're going to flee the country. And so we're not only not going to have the doctors, they'll probably take the antivenom with them. So, needless to say, but if you don't have the $200 for the commercial Snake Chaps, you might look at something like this. Now, this was just nothing but a little classic thing with the two handholds at the time when I bought it, and for little kids to ride down on a sled down the hill, right, the snow. Okay, but when you fold this up, roll it up, if you will, you get it all rolled up, and I just put a couple of straps of Velcro on there, and they stick together easy. And this is for the back of your knee, so you're not cutting into the back of your knee. And then, of course, the front is so that the rounded foot part is there. And all of a sudden, you've got a pretty good Snake Chaps. Now, one layer, a snake might be able to blast through that. But two layers, the first one's going to slow it down, the second one will then just bend in. And so getting a snake to a fang to go through that just is almost impossible. And again, the cost, well, $2, 1% of what a commercial grade Snake Chap costs. So that's something to keep in mind, is trying to protect yourself today and maybe the day after, and to do it on pennies. I've always said I do my very best to make a dime do the work of a dollar. Make a dime do the work of a dollar. And so this is McCook's Mr. Bill. I hope the best for you 2013, and be thinking up some things that you can use practically and give them away. Why don't you let everybody else have your ideas too and spread them around, because never forget, it's us against the bankers and the government. It's us against them. And so the better we can help each other that way, will make it a lot harder for them to keep us in slavery. Rate this film.